This is William Vahey, one of the worst pedophiles in world history. Also, my account has gotten a number of violations lately for talking about these cases. I don't know if they're trying to censor me or not, but viewer discretion is advised. So William Vahey was born May 7th, 1949 in New York. But his crimes took place all across the planet. I'm gonna have to censor some words here so I don't get another violation, but William's first abuse charge came when he was only 14 years old. So William was arrested when he was 20, but the charges stem back to when he was 14 and he was a Boy Scout. Allegedly, at that time in his life, he began touching the other boys that were Boy Scouts with him. So his crimes began early in life and they lasted until the very end. He was sentenced to a short time in prison, but after he got out, he moved to Iran and pursued a career in being a school teacher. He then worked in Iran, Greece, and a number of different countries, and all the while he was carrying out some of the most horrific crimes imaginable. You see, William was a serial abuser. Once he started, he couldn't stop, and he carried on this pattern of abuse at all the schools that he worked at across the planet. Later on, the FBI would release information that stated that William would drug his victims using a drug-laced Oreo. So a number of the people that he abused probably don't even remember it to this day. But it was in the year 2014 when he was working here at the American Nicaraguan School when William was confronted by officials about images they had found on a hard drive. You see, the drive had originally been stolen by a maid, but when she plugged it into her computer and saw what was on the flash drive, she knew she had to report it to authorities. Apparently, there were over 90 CP images depicting William abusing children, and all the images were categorized. Apparently, William had taken kids out on field trips, abused them, taken these photos, and then placed them on this hard drive and labeled him for his own pleasure. The FBI even stated that William's case is one of the worst that they've ever seen. He was an extremely prolific abuser, and when his name, image, everything was posted across the world in the news, hundreds of victims came forward and said that they had suffered at the hands of William Vahey. Later that year, authorities in London raided Vahey's flat where he had been living, and they found 11 more hard drives and a laptop containing these obscene, horrific images. But how does this all end? Well, Vahey was able to escape justice in a number of these countries. He fled back to America. They couldn't prosecute him here. And his first attempt at unaliving himself came when the flash drive was first discovered when he was working at the American Nicaraguan School. On that day, he had attempted to take his own life. He was declared dead, but he was actually revived later on and he escaped the country. But the story ends later that year in 2014 when he was discovered dead in Laverne, Minnesota. He had stabbed himself in the chest and taken his own life. One of the most tragic things connected to this story is the fact that multiple victims of William Vahey's actually took their own lives after the abuse they suffered from this guy. And even though he was exposed, he was never properly brought to justice.